Interesting start to the day. There's a crown molding that I had to have redone. We had to jack up a ceiling a little bit. So that's going to require repainting, but we'll get it. Okay, I just had 2 meetings. Got done those. Both went relatively well, except one was an accounting meeting, and they're having computer issues, so their statements aren't coming out right. And like I told them, I said, well, you know, you've got to get this straightened out. Get somebody to come fix your computer system, do what you need to do, because one way or the other, come July, I've got to do the filing, so I need those numbers. Wish there was another option, but there isn't. So hopefully they do. Today was one of those days that was just absolutely exhausting. So there's not a whole lot of footage of other stuff. There's little bits and pieces that you're going to see, but it was one of those days that I had to go here, went there, had to be back, and there was problems throughout the day. You know, one of the things that happened was that there was one wall that had a little crack in it. So I started peeling it to try to repaint. And as I peeled, the paint just came off like a vinyl sheet. And then when you rub the wall, I'm like, this wall hadn't been washed after it was sanded. So I had to take this whole wall, which is about 14 feet long, and take all the paint off, which came off easy because it just came off in these giant sheets. So after that got done, then I had the guy who was doing it, I said, okay, now wipe it down. Now, I thought that would be clear, but obviously I have to remember to be extremely clear. So I come back and he's wiping the wall with a cloth. And that doesn't do any good. That just smears the dust all over the wall. So I said, no, you've got to take a damp rag, wipe all the dust off, so when you put your hand on that wall before you paint it, there's nothing comes off on your hand. Dust is gone. The paint will then adhere. So that was one thing. Then there was another where there was a crown molding issue that was off. It was on 3 sides of the room, and it went a little off on this side and a little off on this side, and when these two met, it was quite a bit off. So that had to be changed, which then when you change that, changed some of the boards. So I had them working on that today, because it just didn't look right. So that had to be changed. Then I had, I had the masons doing, there was a part of a slab that we couldn't take off that goes past the roof. We have to keep it because under that is part of a rain tank. So we couldn't just cut it off. So it goes out farther. But I'm going to, I was going to put wood on that, and it would be at a different height. So this walkway was here, because of that it was going to be here, but if I put wood on it, it made it way too high. It was like 4.5, 5 inches. So I had the masons put concrete, And when I went back and he was showing me, I said, no, no, no. Just put it relatively, I need a smooth surface for the tile to go on. And then when the guy puts the tile on, he can put a little bit of a slant to it so any water comes in will drain off. So that had to be dealt with. Then there was another room that had partially painted, and they're sanded, and I told them, and I went back, there was some adjustments in the room. So part of the room had been painted, and then the other part had been sanded, and there's, you know, sheetrock dust everywhere. So I said, okay, you can't paint any more in here until this whole room, ceilings, walls, everything is wiped out. So I go back down there, and this was after everybody had gone, and lo and behold, yeah, he had started wiping the walls down, but hello, there's still a cloud of dust. So it's like, okay, so tomorrow I've got to get them to, so that's the kind of day it was. And that's how, not a lot, thank God, of my days are, but I have to constantly be over here, over there, seeing this, seeing that, making sure that everything's getting done the way it needs to get done. So if it doesn't, you know, if I wasn't there, a lot of these things would just sort of be like, I don't know what would happen, to be honest. So that's why there wasn't. It was just a day of one thing after another. This goes over here, electric, blah, 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 blah. So,
And meetings.
Oh, and meetings too. I told you about that before. So hopefully tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully everything's going to go a lot smoother. I'm planning out lights, which have to be put, they're recessed lights for the ceiling. So those have to be in exact positions, because once you cut the hole in the wood ceilings with a hole saw, you can't putty that back up if it's wrong. So these have to be exact. That's all part of the fun, right? All part of the fun. All part of the fun. All part of the fun. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, when I came home at lunch, it was 91 in the shade and like super humid. So you're out running around doing all that. It's exhausting. The heat just, it's like if you had a oxygen air-conditioned suit, like, you know, spaceman. But so you just are dripping wet, dealing with all these things, high humidity, the heat, not enough breeze, all part of the fun.